FM 1019, FM 100.5, WGNSradio.com. The Good Neighbor Network. Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Curious about electric vehicles? MTE's Drive EV program has resources to help you learn. Visit driveev.com. We're going to catch up with our friends, Murfreesboro City Schools today. Lisa Trail and Torri Carr. We brought the whole gang here, communications team here, right?
The whole entire team. That's it. Team's here.
Team's here. So, summertime. That doesn't mean that it's, I guess, there are vacations and things, but, still the district is hard at work.
Yeah, we do have vacations, though.
Thankfully, right?
Thankfully, we do have that, but we are hard at work. We have about 1,300 students still in our summer school program that'll end in June. And ESP is just going strong with lots of camps and activities at all of their ESP sites. So the buildings are still being used, even if we have a few weeks of vacation.
Sure. Might as well, slip it in. And but does the district office ever really close other than holidays and things like that?
No.
Yeah.
No, we're closed July 4th, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just big holidays.
Big holidays we do close, but I mean, most of the time we even flex our schedules so that we try, like our team of two here, not being on vacation the same week. Yeah. Although I think sometimes it'd be easier if we were. That back-to-back weeks we get very confused. But so pretty much anytime you need us at central office, we are there and happy to help, because this is the time have a lot of people moving in asking questions about where their zone school is, how to register for school, how to apply for a job, all of those kind of things. So we're still hiring for our next year. Mostly, I think our teachers are hired. We may have a couple of specialty positions that we're getting ready to advertise and hire for, but we're there.
So I read somewhere that summertime, usually June, is second only to July in terms of when people are buying and selling homes and moving and things of that nature, just to get ready for the next school year. So I bet you do get a lot of questions about that.
Absolutely. And, if you have a family, that's the time to move, because you want to move between the school years, or at least most people, if they have that option, we see that. And we also see them moving right before January as well, trying to get that school year in. We'll also have a lot of MTSU students that come into town, and a lot of them come with families. So they are looking to see where they're zoned and how to get registered. And so to answer a lot of those questions. And right now is when our school secretaries are actually on summer break, so we get a lot of those questions at central office.
Well, I know we're going to talk about all the things that are going on this summer as well, but I just went to cityschools.net, and a pretty cool designation for Discovery School, the Tree Campus by Arbor Day Foundation, named a Tree Campus, so that's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Discovery's getting several accolades lately, and the Arbor, being the tree school, is really cool. They really worked hard on that. That's been a labor of love from More Trees Burrow, which is a nonprofit group, and then also the city of Murfreesboro with the Arborist program and the Discovery School. So I think they've been working together. I think this was the third year, getting funding for those trees and just doing the educational piece, just to say, hey, this is the reason we need these trees. And so to get the designation that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that's a recent article or story or whatnot, whatever you want to call it, on cityschools.net. And of course the calendar is there. I can't believe that we're talking end of July, school starting.
I know. Yeah. So the school calendar is there. It's on the top right corner. It says school calendar or just calendar, and it will show you when our spring break is for next year, because that's one of the big questions, when fall break is, when we're out of school for Thanksgiving. So if you're trying to plan those vacations for 25, 26, it's already up there. Just go ahead and look and plan away.
Yeah, I would think your calendar and the county schools calendar, and for those who have maybe kids that are middle school, high school age, and elementary age, they're comparing, and does it all work out?
And we try really hard to look very similar. Sometimes ours goes off a little bit. Mainly, we do a lot of our in-servicing days on Mondays and Fridays, and so sometimes those days are a little bit off from the county. But that's but the main holidays, those fall breaks and spring breaks, they always look the same.
The move away from half days, I think, has been a big help for parents a lot of times in terms of there aren't as many half days, you go and then are out at 10 or something like that.
Right. We have the half day to start the school and the half day to end the school, and I think
very few and far between. Outside of that,
a lot of the teacher work days used to be half days, but now combining those into one.
Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say Dr. Duke does a really good job with our teacher advisory council. And so there's a whole team that puts the calendar. They take input from the staff members at their schools. They bring it back and they'll meet. And so they actually get to talk about and discuss the calendar. So they have a whole team that takes a lot of suggestions.
A lot of suggestions.
And how long, well, the 25-26 calendar is obviously up, but I did notice that it was there a long time before the end of this last school year. So is there a time frame that
we
usually...
typically get it up in January.
Okay. So first of the year for the next year.
All the vacations.
Does that come from this board that you mentioned or this advisory council?
We have the teacher advisory council has a lot of input. Our instruction department has a lot of input on that, and then we also ask families. Parent input as well. So it comes from a lot, and of course our school board members, they hear from the parents. So there's a lot of people who have to have a good say about that calendar, but a lot of them really, their main concern is, are we mirroring the counties? And so for those big breaks, yes, and that's really makes a difference for parents.
And at some point there's a collaboration there of, can I see your calendar? I would think somewhere along the line.
It's not a secret.
Hide it. We only keep it in one folder.
It's not a secret. We're not trying to outdo or fast pace anybody. We're just trying to make sure that we have the number of days that we have to have, and then also try to make the breaks as easy for parents and our staff as possible.
Yeah. And the number of days in school, that is mandated, right? By the state.
Yes.
So,
180.
Okay.
So I think we start with that 180, and I know our instruction department backs it out.
Yeah.
And with all their designated days they have to have, and our instructional days meets all the holiday breaks.
And then you factor in weather days too? No?
The weather days are given. So it's not, so if we take a snow day, we don't add a day. Does that make sense? So that's a different claim of days.
Yeah, it's the number of hours in class too, and I think maybe you gain 30 minutes.
There's a whole lot of math.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of conversations to go around it. So.
It's summer. We're not going to get into
we
that.
just posted on the website.
Murfreesboro City Schools conversation this morning with Lisa Trail and Torri Carr. So summer resources. I know we touched maybe the last time about Chow Bus, but I'm sure that's very busy time right now going on.
Yeah, the Chow Bus is running now, and I think it's a good time just to remind folks that Chow Bus is for anyone 18 years and under, whether they go to Murfreesboro City Schools or Rutherford County, or you're just here for vacation. Rutherford County is also doing their version of a Chow Bus as well. So even you can look at both of our calendars, both of our sites, and see what works best for you. It's the same program. It's coming through the it's USDA. So I know that we have some stable sites like Discovery Center, and several of our schools are places that you can go and get those summer meals. The county also has a lot of those sites that are like the library and McFadden, and a couple of those really easy to access areas, and as well as lots of other ones too. So if our Chow Bus doesn't meet your needs, I would encourage you to look at Rutherford County's locations as well, especially if you're living in Laverne and Smyrna or those outlying areas. They may suit your needs better. And again, this is all about making sure that our children have some access to food during the summertime. So it's again, not a competition. It is a collaboration. I think.
And
Torri
we have, so our Chow Bus goes to various sites within the city, but then we also have 6 of our schools also serve. So the kids and their families, they can go into our school buildings. You will have to show your ID just like any other visitor. and you actually go in to the cafeteria, you sit down and eat, and you walk through line just how they would any other time. And so they'll see probably some of their friends in the hallways if they're at their own school, but you do have to go in and eat in the school buildings. And for the Chow Bus, you have to eat on the bus as well. I got the privilege of going out the last couple of times, and it is so sweet, and the kids are on there having so much fun, and Miss Hope and Mr. Keith are awesome, and they joke around with the kids and know them by name, so they're looking for them, and they might call them over too when they don't show up on time. Make sure that they come on the bus and get plenty of time to eat.
Yeah, so they actually eat on board the bus.
They do eat on the bus.
Okay.
It's outfitted, and it looks like a little restaurant.
How about that?
Yeah.
What they were serving some pasta last week, and kind of wish I was under 18 because it looked really good. And the kids are so thankful, and they get the time and just a little bit of alone time and quiet time too.
Yeah.
That's a little different. During the COVID years, we were able to serve off the bus and just kind of, it was like to go. So getting back to the norm of the reason we outfitted the bus is so that you eat on the bus. It's a requirement. That's what we're doing now. And then again, if you can't make it to one of the bus stops, and you can make it to any of the bus stops, you don't have to live in that area anytime. Patterson Park also serves breakfast and lunch through our program. The Discovery Center, the same thing. And then at our school. So you don't have to be going, I think Black Fox is one of our sites. You don't have to attend Black Fox. You can just go over.
As long as you're 18 and under. There are no other requirements.
I was talking last Friday to Michelle Clifford at the Boys and Girls Club, and apparently this is the same program they have within the club too.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's something that's done in some of our larger areas where kids may be all summer.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly, because it is about feeding those children during the summertime. It's we don't want children to go hungry.
Right.
And it's a lot if you're living on a limited income, or maybe your grandkids are with you for the summer and that's not part of your budget. It really does help parents out a lot, and it makes sure that kids get a nutritious hot meal.
Yeah, well, great program, and things are on all the schedule, and when breakfast is served, and then I guess we turn around, and once breakfast is done, it's lunchtime, right?
Yeah, and it is very much scheduled. So if you don't, you've got to hit that
show
window.
Up, I was just looking because I know one time a little boy he was coming up right as, and they said, "Hey, meet us at the next stop. We'll get you there, but we have to go right now." So it is down to the minutes.
Yeah.
And we want them to be able to sit and eat and enjoy, not rush. So they are very good, and Mr. Keith will say, "Hey, meet us right down the road," and the families do. They'll come and they just meet us because sometimes you're running a little late.
And a lot of times, if it's stop A, stop B is in the neighborhood.
Yes,
neighborhood
and
just
that's how it
around.
is for a couple of our stops. Yeah.
So the breakfast time, lunchtime, all of that, all the stops on the City Schools website. I'll link to that in the podcast as well. So you also want to talk about the mobile resource van. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we had Bob the Book Bus for years, and Bob finally just doesn't work anymore. So we have replaced Bob with Merv, which is our
big on acronyms here.
We're big on acronyms because it's easier to say. But our mobile resource van started running in June. And thanks to the City Schools Foundation and a lot of other people, we appreciate them helping us to purchase this van and get it moving. So think of a book bus, but much smaller that we can drive. So it has books on it for all age kids. There are also activities, and actually I've been on vacation and haven't been at all. So Torri's been the last 2 weeks, so I should let her talk. I'm talking like I'm an expert, and I really haven't even been out with it. So
yes, so it has been fantastic. So Merv follows Chow. So in the afternoons, we will go right behind the Chow Bus, and we tell the students, hey, and tell all the kids, hey, after you eat, come on, come get a book. We've had crayons, coloring sheets, and this last week we actually took just a few cleaning supplies. We saw a lot of families, and we said, hey, next week we're going to have just a couple of resources if you want any. And the joy that it brought was amazing. The moms who we saw were so thankful. The best story was it was a little girl's birthday, and she hadn't come yet, and the mom said, hey, just come on. Do you want a book for your kids? And she said, it's actually her 7th birthday today. And so the little girl came right after and just running in her sparkly birthday shirt. And she's like, it's my birthday. And you could tell it made her day that she was able to get a book and her own coloring packets. And of course we let her have 2 books because it was her birthday. And then that next week we just had a couple of cleaning supplies that were donated, and they were so thankful. And so Merv will be following Chow on Wednesdays, only on Wednesdays in the afternoons. And we are starting at Chariot Point Apartments. And so when you see that schedule online, just from Chariot Points to Abington Apartments we'll be right there behind him. And we've had a couple of different activities. We've had baby books to chapter books. So we're really trying to meet the needs of all of our families.
Now, when they get these books, are those books for them to keep?
Yes, they get to keep them.
Awesome.
And they do not have to return them. They can if they would like, but no, we want them to keep them and read them at home with their siblings or their families. And that aspect has really taken the place of Bob.
Yeah.
And so since Bob was our mobile library, we've replaced him and making him fit the needs of our families. Closer to school time, we will have laptops so parents can get registered if they haven't already registered for this next school year. Just really any of the resources that they need that we are able to help with. That's the goal of Murph. We just want to reach our families where they're at.
You mentioned City Schools Foundation was really big in purchasing Merv.
Yes.
So is the foundation an integral part in making sure that there are books and coloring packets and that kind of thing on board? Or
Well, we have never gone without books. Our families donate books to us on a regular basis. We get calls saying, hey, my child is now 14 and I have these books from when they were 5 to 8. Can I bring them to you? So we always have an ample supply of books, and we're very fortunate with that. We actually have more right now than we've ever had, just because we've had a lull between January until June until we could get it up and running again. So we have lots of books. So those are donated. The governor's early literacy program also gives us books. Read to Succeed gives us books. When our librarians have extra books, they'll give them to us. And so it's just helping families build their own home library, because the Imagination, Dolly Parton's program does such a great job from that 0 to 5, but from 5 up is where we're really seeing that need, and we're trying to actually supply that need. The other part of just having sidewalk chalk and the fun activities and ideas really just gets the kids out of the house and gives them something else to do and start thinking as they're. We don't want to lose them on that summer slide. We're so fortunate to have so many children still in our buildings between ESP and our summer school program, but there's still a lot that are still seeking that extra knowledge at home.
Sure. Well, is Merv only a summertime thing, or is this kind of year-round?
Well, it's brand new.
It's new.
So right now we are kind of
trying to figure that out.
Lisa was out, and so I know Jennifer, our family engagement coordinator, so she and I took it out. And we were texting saying, we've learned a lot these last 2 weeks. So whenever you come back, we have lots of ideas. So we will see how Merv goes throughout the school year.
It's intended to be all year long. It's just one of those where we're learning.
Well, you said like a lull between January and summer.
Because Bob kind of broke down.
Yeah.
And then
had to purchase a used van and then make it look like what we needed to look like.
And so we have... So it's been outfitted, and there's a fold-down table. So, and we have some stools so parents can have somewhere to sit when they register. We've been using that this week to hold. We made some packets for them. All of the crayons that we were given were all donated. So everything's been donated to us, and we are now just able to get those into the hands of our students and our families. And like Lisa said, all the books. I know I actually have some in my car that I need to take over. So we have family members who also will donate. And
well, that's cool.
Just chapter books and anything. And I mean, I think it's safe to say, hey, we are accepting donations for Murph.
Nice books.
Yeah. We don't.
We have had some where people have just dumped stuff, and I'm like, okay,
we don't need them
one
flip flop, please.
A flip flop,
or
just some shoes,
or the coloring books that are halfway, like maybe we're not we're not trying to be ugly, but no one really wants a half-used coloring book.
Oh, that's true.
There's
So
a reason
nice
it's still in your
things.
closet too. So, but so those kind of things are great. We've had donations for cleaning supplies and all kinds of different things. We're so blessed to be able to accept that. With our new building over at 910 Ridgely, which is where our transportation and our maintenance department is going to be housed now, we also received a area of that warehouse for our family resources, and so we're able to take those donations, whereas before we didn't have really the space in our central office to take a whole lot of them. But now we have that space, and we're just thrilled. I'm going to make sure I get this right. I need to give a shout out to the Blackman cheer team, who they have been over there for hours sorting through the books, because you can imagine taking all these books from one location to another location was quite the challenge. And we've had just so much volunteer help of us getting our Family Resource Center back up and operational, and that cheer team have hours and hours they've given to us.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice collaboration there. And so if there are donations, should they take them to the 910 Ridgely
They
Road?
should call us,
Okay.
because we're not always there.
893-2313. Please give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll arrange it. It depends on what it is, but most likely it'll go to the Resource Center, but we'll have to meet you there.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for coming in on your summer. I hope you had a nice little 2 weeks, apparently.
I had a great vacation.
We've learned a lot.
Torri and Jennifer have held down everything, and Kevin and I have had 10 days off, and I am pretty lost today.
Well, I'm sure you'll get back in the swing with everything.
The team's back together.
The dynamic duo. Well, I appreciate you coming in
Thanks,
today. Fun always talking about Murfreesboro City Schools. If you came in a bit late, the podcast will be up here in just a couple of moments. And, of course, cityschools.net, the website with all the resources. Make sure you take part in all of that this summer, the summer feeding program, MIRV, all of that that we talked about here on the show. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you back here next time.